Some grapes are gifted by nature, some are created by man. And amongst the ones that are created by man, the youngest one to make it on the international list is the South African famed Pinotage. It is its birthday on the 10th of October, and that's what we're talking about today. And to talk about it, we have Abhas, who's a certified sommelier, winner of the Indian Sommelier Championship, who traveled to South Africa.
Yeah.
You know about Pinotage?
I had my good fortune anyways. Cheers, G-Man. Pinotage was born very recently in 1925 when Professor Abraham Izak Perold of the Stellenbosch University decided to cross Burgundy's Pinot Noir and Cinsault from the Rhone Valley. Now, Cinsault in the Cape area was called Hermitage, and that's how the name came about. Pinot from Pinot Noir and Taj from the Hermitage. And some suggest that instead of Pinotage, Hermine Noir was also in consideration.
I think Pinot Noir is a better word.
Yeah, it sounded much better.
Now, Pinot Noir grows in cooler, lighter climates, producing soft, very fruity, ethereal, light but elegant wines. And Cinsault, well, that's an absolute beast. Grows in hotter climates, providing these very heavy, chunky, weighty, dark fruit-oriented wines. Put them together, it's a marriage somewhere like King Kong got married to Alice in Wonderland and had a love child, and that's what Pinotage is. Do you agree?
Absolutely. It produces deep red wines with chunky tannins and easily 14 to 15% alcohol content. And on the palate, it brings with mulberries, blackberries, smokiness, bramble, and a ton of earthiness. And all that gets further accentuated if grapevines, the plants, all are well managed in the vineyards and are a few decades old. So the older it is, you might get even heavier and heavier as you go. So.
Wow. Now, that sounds enticing, but do know that we must understand that the winemakers say that they have yet to figure out the best climate, the best soil for the grape variety. So it is safe to say that the full potential of Pinotage is yet to be discovered. Needless to say, it definitely is a synonym to South African wines, and who knows, this might be their best bet in the future.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And we know that South Africans have always maintained that they are an old world country, making wine since the mid 17th century. And Pinotage, even though is Burgundy meets Rhone, has nothing French about it as such. And the South Africans have always admired the European winemaking style. So, have they really been able to do justice to the varietal is something that, I mean, who knows?
Even though Pinotage came into existence in 1925, it was first grown in 1941. And 10 years later, it was winning awards, not only locally, but even internationally. So, a lot of international fame came to the thing.
Yeah, and talking of the international fame, Pinotage is yet to find a second home and success outside of South Africa. Having said that, the varietal is now also planted in New Zealand, USA, and surprise, surprise, Germany.
Wow.
New Zealand is specifically doing well with the varietal. Yet again, with Pinotage, everything is on a wait and watch basis. So let's give it some time. Let's see what they have to offer.
Right. And where are you on oak with Pinotage? Do you like it with oak or without?
So I would prefer my Pinotage unoaked, but if at all there is supposed to be an influence of oak, then I would go with an American oak because the tannin aspect of the wine would kind of balance out the fruits and the spiciness really well. So I think that is something.
It works better that.
Yeah.
I like my Pinotage, at least the ones that are available in India, with lesser oak and more fruit forward ones. But there is a small little market for sparkling Pinotage as well. But there is one face of Pinotage which is yet to find its true identity, and that is the rosé Pinotage. We do have a rosé Pinotage in India, but I'm not really sure if in case it's still.
I don't really think so too. But enough said about Pinotage. I came a very long way, not just for lip service. I think it's about time we taste some Pinotage and
who's talking, man? I took a flight from Delhi to Bombay and you're talking about that. All right, cool. So we don't have one, but we have two Pinotage. One is the one that I'm tasting, which is the Mille Joubert Pinotage. And the name of the wine is Patribul, which is basically one face of the vineyard, the slope in the vineyard, and that's what the name of the place is. What are you tasting?
The one that I'm tasting is the Man Vintners. Now, this Pinotage is called Bostock. Yeah. Which essentially refers to the bush wine that they have actually got this entire cultivation coming in from. So it's, two different styles of viticulture also is something that we can witness.
Right. So again, deep red wine, it's got a good color, even though it is 2016, it's got a few years on it, but pretty good color, good nose. It's again a little bit of a mix of red fruits meet dark fruits, a little bit of spice, a little bit of that smoke that you were talking about. A little bit of that earthiness is there on the nose as well. Enticed to taste it. What do you find on yours?
Mine is a 2018, and the color-wise, I think there is that ruby red brimming towards the edges, which sort of still shows that there might be age that this wine can probably get. But I would still want to consume this young and not maybe wait for too long. As far as the nose is concerned, yes, there is that explosion of fruit. There is that explosion of spice, which comes through. Specifically, those red fruits, those really dark jungle berries of sorts.
Yeah.
And at the same point of time, that hint of wood coming through in the form of maybe that slight earthiness which the wine showcases. I think.
But this one has been in oak for about a year. Mine has only kissed oak just for a few months, and that's it. But on the palate, the bigger problem with Pinotage is its tannin structure. But this one is rather soft. It might be because of the winemaking, might be because of the fruit, might be because of the location. But in this case, it could possibly be because of just the bottle conditioning that the wine has received. They're rather soft. They're not as punchy as you would expect a Pinotage to have. But yeah, the dark, dense, very deep fruit is there. There is a little bit of, muskiness towards the end, which Pinotage tend to deliver anyway. It draws a lot of critique, but I don't mind drinking this wine at all. A tomato risotto, voila.
Oh, for me on the palate, it's got a good balance between the acidity and the alcohol, all coming in together really nice. Fairly medium body, nothing too heavy on your palate. But at the same point of time, there's a good explosion of fruit. So the olfactory tones of the notes that you got on your nose are something which are sort of translating to your palate really well.
Yeah.
And that kind of speaks really well for the wine. And it is, for me, a very good sort of easy drinking red, perfect for like a sunset sort of a time.
Yeah.
Not too heavy, not too light.
I'm enticed now. You can have mine, you have yours.
And a good creamy risotto, I think, would do really well for the one that I tasted.
Now you want my risotto as well. But yeah, yours taste really vibrant and very energetic, while mine has become a little more subdued and distant.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's its birthday, so we can't critique Pinotage too much. So happy birthday, Pinotage.
Happy birthday, Pinotage.
You're almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
Not that matters anyway. But yeah, enjoy a Pinotage. If you haven't added that to your tasting scheme just yet, pick up a Pinotage and try and see which one. Neil Schubert, this is in Bombay for somewhere around 1980 in detail. And
1995 for the Man Wintners.
So yeah, under 2,000 rupees, good picks. So yeah, happy birthday, Pinotage.
Happy birthday, Pinotage. Cheers.